Hi, I'm Dakota Serna, one of Jose Serna's grandchildren. I was given the opportunity to speak this year because all the daughters have already given their speeches, and perhaps some didn't want to do it again. In my remarks, I'm going to speak of both my grandparents as a unit, as one body, because without a hardworking and dedicated stay-at-home mother, my grandfather would not have been able to achieve what he did. This year, I wanted to speak on a particular value that was, in my belief, embodied by my grandfather and my grandmother, and one of the primary reasons for why we're all in attendance today. That value is selflessness. This idea that I have, it did not come totally from me, but from one of the Catholic bishops that I follow and learn from. His name is Bishop Robert Barron. One of the themes he often repeats, and I quote here, is your life is not your own. Your life is not your own. It is a strange saying. Of course my life is my own. How could it not be? Well, I want to challenge that thought that we may have in this moment. That thought of course my life is my own. Society seems to have driven itself down a road where the primary thought is the idea of self and self-fulfillment. Without going too deep into it, the things that come to my mind are sayings that I heard a lot when I was younger. I have to give an alert here because these sayings are outdated. I'm 15 years or more past my high school age, so please forgive me. But some of the common sayings I used to hear are, you just do you, I'm gonna do me. YOLO, you only live once. I'm gonna get mine. I hear variants of these ideas on the news and throughout the social media that I'm on still today. There is a sense in these sayings that show the primary value is on the individual and putting the value on the self, and with that value comes selfishness. The reason I bring this up is to help reveal the value held by my grandfather and that the Teacher's Impact Award continues to have, selflessness. The idea that our life is not our own, but the purpose is to give it away. When my grandparents were first married, it wasn't long before my grandma became pregnant with my Auntie Sonia in just 2 short months. Right after my grandma gave birth, she was pregnant again, just 5 months later with my mom, Veronica. They had 2 more kids, my Auntie Tricia and my Nina Luisa. And when my Nina Luisa was almost ready to move out because she was approaching 18, maybe there was some excitement for my grandparents because they were soon to become empty nesters. But no, here came the grandkids. And let me tell you, it wasn't just that the grandkids came. My grandparents were dedicated and they supported their daughters. This is even to the extent in my case, they built another bedroom in their home for my mother and I when I was born. Even further, that during that first year of my life, they raised me while my mom went to go work on her master's degree from the University of Pacific in California. There was no time spent living for themselves, but only a time spent giving themselves. That is, giving themselves to their children and their grandchildren. Today, many of my friends speak on how children are a burden. Children limit the options of what they can do. They tell me things like, how can I travel with these children? How can I go out at night when I have these children that are reliant on me? Children aren't like my dog that I can leave a bowl of water and food outside and then check on sporadically. They require constant dedication and nurturing, and I don't even know to what extent, because my child is still in the womb. I'm sure my wife and I will be in for an awakening soon once she gives birth. My grandma cooked an unquantifiable amount of meals for us. My grandpa let us play with him in the tool shed. He coached us on life. He coached us on our education. He took me fishing. And even when I would break his cigarettes in half and throw them in the trash at night, he would still show me love, even though he was pissed. My grandpa always brought back little toys for us from his business trips, and he let us pick all the change out of his suitcase to save it in our piggy banks. For me, my grandparents spent countless hours on the road taking me back and forth to Phoenix in California, where I lived with my mom or where my mom was studying. There were just so many things that my grandparents did for us that I don't have enough time to mention everything today, although I wish I did. But simply put, I find the manner in which my grandparents gave of themselves to their children and their grandchildren to be a true act of selflessness. Had they chosen to call their life their own, maybe they would have not had kids. Where would we be? I mean, we as in my family, but also we in this room. Bishop Barron speaks of the law of the gift. The measure by which you give yourself is the measure with which you will receive. That is to say, the more you give of yourself, the more you will receive. That is what happened here with my grandparents, and I believe that is expressed here right now. The selfless love between a couple, my grandma and grandpa, bringing forth children and dedicating themselves to giving their life, has in a particular divine way led us to this moment, the Jose M. Serna Teachers Impact Awards. Here we are today with all these athletes and these teachers who will be personifying the value of selflessness. All of these teachers that are here today have lived this idea that their life is not their own. These teachers are to receive a gift because they gave themselves in a profound way to their students and then pay this gift forward. Teachers, I do not know you, but thank you for the impact that you have made on the lives of your students. I heard recently that teaching is not a job, but a type of vocation, and I'm grateful to witness the fruit of your vocation. Students, thank you for your efforts and the words you will share about your teachers. Nino, Mark, thank you for putting this event together. And lastly, to my grandma and grandpa both, thank you. Thank you for everything. I can't imagine how beautiful it is for you, Grandma, to see how the mutual gift of self and the dedication to your children and grandchildren have led you to this beloved Jose M. Serna Teachers Impact Awards. It's incredible. In a world plagued by selfishness, I'm so happy we have this event today to showcase how selflessness can impact us as individuals and as a community. Thank you. Woo.